Hey guys, welcome to Crazy Nails Education Corner. Today I am going to start a series. This first one is going to be on Gel X. Throughout the series, I'm going to go over different methods I use, different products I use, explaining what they do, and giving you guys a little bit more depth into the services you're getting. So today we're going to start with Gel X. This is my little client, and this is going to be her natural nail. And this white part is gonna act as our cuticle, so you have a thorough demonstration of what prep actually looks like. So for my prep, I usually use 2 bits depending on if they already have product on their nails. If they do, I will use 3 different bits. If they already have product on their nails, I'll use something coarse like this to remove it. And then as I get closer to the natural nail, a sanding band like this. And then this cuticle bit, obviously in the name, is used to remove the cuticle. And so I will go in with both of these on a natural nail and then the coarse one if there's already enhancement on there. So this client has no enhancement. We're gonna assume if there was any regular polish, we could just wipe that off with some acetone. So I would start with my sanding band, forward speed on this Valentino drill at about 5. And starting at the right side, I'm not really gonna hit too much of the sidewall because I don't want to cut my client. So you can see I'm going in and I'm just dancing around, and it can kind of touch the skin because we're going at such a slow speed. It won't really hurt the client, but we're just going to dance over the whole nail so all the shine is removed. Oops. Not the most secure client, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be gentle. Okay. All right, now that that whole area is prepped, let me make sure I'm in focus here. Let me zoom in. You should be able to see, sorry, I'm trying to get the light where I need it to be. You should be able to see how there's a small section where it has not been removed, the shine, and it's kind of where that cuticle is. But we're going to take our cuticle bit and we're going to connect it together in order to make sure there's no debris left on the nail for the enhancement. All right, now we got our cuticle bit. And I'm gonna do about the same speed, 5 or 6. But for this one, I actually like to kick it into reverse. So reversing the drill is going to allow the bit to spin this way and push that cuticle back. Otherwise, it's spinning this way and it's just gonna pull that cuticle back down onto the nail, and it's not going to push it back and reveal, you know, more nail for you to enhance. So I put it in reverse. Oops, make sure it's all the way in reverse. I'm gonna do it at a 6. And hopefully, let me make sure you can see this. Okay. You're gonna watch as it dances. You see how it kind of pushes that skin up? So I can get under there. Now I'm gonna do half of this just so you can see. Go down the side, down the side, down the side. Can you see that? Can you see how that side, there's still cuticle under there because obviously your cuticle runs all the way to the matrix, but you can see here that it's fully prepped from where I sanded it all the way to the side. And this other side, so since it's spinning this way so much, when we go to do this side, it's not going to pull the same. It's going to, see, it kind of pulls at that skin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the angle of it so then it's spinning to benefit us. See how it's pushing that cuticle up? Because if we come at it like this, it's just gonna catch. But if we come at it at an angle like this, it's just gonna go beautifully in there. Get all that cuticle up, connect it, and you can go over the whole nail with this bit just to kind of marry it together with the sanding because this one is very gentle. This one is actually skin safe. It's not gonna hurt you. It would take a long, concentrated, you know, drilling to the skin to be able to even feel warmth, because I honestly didn't even feel warmth on that, and there's no damage to my hand. So this one is very, very soft, gentle, good for people with dry, sensitive cuticles, but still be careful. I have had one girl that was super dry, and this wasn't even a good option for her. So just be careful with that, but 99% of the time we are good to go. All right, let's move on to the next step for this. Oh, well, don't do that. Don't rip your client's nail off. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Okay. All right, so we've got our prepped nail here. We've removed as much cuticle as we can. We've got our prep nail. Let me zoom back out here. All right. So our next step is going to be to dehydrate. So you can either use a scrub brush like this and spray it with the alcohol and scrub. Or you can use something brush on like this, remover. You can actually refill these with just acetone and alcohol. You don't have to keep buying them. So you can just use this. You can just dust off all the dust and debris and then just go over the natural nail with this to dehydrate. Or you can do both. For if someone is really greasy, you can spray. That was horrible. If someone's real greasy, if someone's very oily, spray, scrub, and then go in with this as well. Because this one, you never want to skip this one, but you can do one without the other. I like to do both. Put it on there, and then I use the Young Nails Protein Bond for my Gel X. And you are going to take 2 coats of this. This is a very sticky substance, but it doesn't have acids in it like the type they use at a chop shop. So it doesn't penetrate your nail bed as deeply, which is good because you don't want these chemicals penetrating deep into your bloodstream. So 2 coats of this is really helpful to make sure you have that good sticky layer. So 2 coats of that. Your nail's gonna look really nice at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Your cuticle's gonna be all pushed back. You will be pretty dry, but your nail is just gonna look so good. There's gonna be no debris. It'll look amazing. Okay, so then we're gonna go in with the next product here. I'm gonna set my client down. This is a Press Extend Gel Non-Wipe. This is gonna alleviate that stickiness you get under here. So when I sandwich the gel, which you'll see momentarily, there is a little bit of spillage that might come under your nail. Now, usually products that are gel have a sticky finish unless it's a top coat. This is specially formulated, so when it's fully cured, there's gonna be no sticky under there, so you won't get a bunch of dust and crumbs stuck in that small area where the gel is, which I have experienced with other brands in the past. So this gel actually smells really good. It kind of smells minty, honestly. But I just take one thin layer of it over all 10 of the natural nails, and I get very close to the cuticle. Very close to the cuticle. And like over here, if you have, like I did here, if you have any spillage that gets onto the side, just take a little brush and just clean it up so it's not touching anymore. You don't have to drench this in acetone, otherwise you're gonna thin out the polish that touches the acetone, and then it'll continue to run into that cuticle. So you just need, you can dip it in some acetone, but make sure you dry it thoroughly and then just kind of clean it up. And then this is only going to get cured for 30 seconds. If it gets cured for longer than 30 seconds, that's fine. It won't be the end of the world, I promise. All right, now that I've given this a cure, we're going to move on to the extension. Typically, you do all 10 nails like this, one hand, the other hand, and then you would start extension on the first hand. So you want to start by sizing the tip to the finger. You know, you go one by one. But this client only has one finger, unfortunately. I'm gonna zoom in again. All right, you're gonna size it sidewall to sidewall. So let me actually sandwich it. This is usually what I do. I hold it on my client's finger, and I look at one side, I look at the other side, I look at the tip to see if it's secure on both ends. This one is not fully. Do you see here how it doesn't fully meet the sidewall? That's not okay. You want to get a tip that's big enough to meet the sidewall all the way down like that, and you want it on both sides. See, this one is too small. If I were to have it secure on this side would not be fully covered. So you want to make sure it's covered on both sides, and you're not putting your tip on wonky like this and you have one side that's secure and one side that's not. For the purpose of today's demonstration, I am going to use this tip because it's fine. It's not a real client. So, oops, a little bit too sticky there. Let me put that back. All right. Now this gel will be sticky. It's non-wipe and it's not supposed to be sticky once it's fully cured. This is a flash cure, a 30-second cure, so it will still have some stick to it. You need to cure it for the full 60 to 90 seconds, okay? So you want to prep your tip. Now that this finger is cured, prepped, we have our tip properly sized to the finger. I'm going to take a little bit of acetone, pure acetone. Get a small brush that I can use to get in there. And you want to take a lot of acetone. Like there's still a drip on there. I'm not wiping it off. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it here and I'm going to blend. Blend it out. And it'll start to dry and it'll start to create these deep streak marks from the melted plastic into the nail. And that's what you want. The more streaks, the more crazy, the better it is, and the more texture it'll make for that gel to hold on to itself. Can you see that? Let me see if I get it to focus. Can you see that? Texture? If not, I will insert a picture of what it should look like. And then you are going to take your client's finger. Usually you don't hold it like this right now, but my client can't hold their finger up themselves. So they hold their hand there while you take your gel, and you're going to wipe a thin layer over all of the area that will touch the natural nail. So if your client has a long nail bed, you're going to go higher up on this tip. You might go all the way up here. But if they just have a little tiny short nail bed, you just want to barely put any on there. So my client has a long nail bed today, so I'm going to go kind of far up because you want the gel to have a clear path to flow. Because right here, this part where I put a load of gel at the base, that is going to flood into everything we just painted. So it will create an even structure throughout. Your gel will flood and self-level accordingly under there and create the perfect little archway. Now this is my favorite little light. This is a portable gooseneck LED light, and it's intended for Gel-X, but it can be used for a multitude of things, you know, little nail art on your finger, portable, you know, you don't want to put your whole hand in the light, whatever. But I use it for Gel-X. It's really, really good. Typically, my client would have their hand held up, and I would take this and I would sandwich it on, and I would hold it down with one hand, and then take the other hand and put this light over it so I could have it in the proper position and cure. But for today's means, because I have to use so many hands to do this demonstration, I'm just going to have the light on, sandwich it, and move it under the light, which is another method that I have seen. But I feel like when you sandwich it and then you start moving, your tip can move and it can create air bubbles, and I'm not too fond of that method. So but today, for the purpose of this demonstration, that's what we will be doing. Here's my finger. Here's my tip. You see how it starts to flood down? Once it meets to the tip, you're going to put it under the light. Now this gel cures very, very fast. So if it's a thick, like you put a lot of gel in there, make sure you don't just jam it under the light too quick. Otherwise, you are going to have issues with burning. Your client's gonna say, it burns. All right, now this stuff already cured, already secure. Like, this stuff is not running anymore. So I am going to make sure my finger doesn't fall off. And here is a good example of a little issue you can have. Honestly, It's not that bad. If you can see right here on the side, there's a little area. No, it fully covered the natural nail, but there's a little area where where there's separation, where there's no gel that flooded that area. So what you can do is you just take a little nail art brush like this, or like this little nail art brush, and dip it in a tiny bit of the gel and just go under there, and you just flood it with more gel in order to fill that gap. And then cure again. Now let's take a closer look at this here. Let me move this. Are we in focus? Can we see that? Okay, you see how it's fully covering that nail tip, no bubbles, beautiful, clear, seamless. And now there's a beautiful extension on that. It's nice and thin, but it's also secure. I have them on my nails now, and these last me a month. These are super secure, super good for bumps and dings, because unlike acrylic, these structurally, molecularly have a flexible makeup. The acrylic, when the polymers link with the monomers, it creates a tight chain, and as it hardens, that chain is solidified. So in order to break the chain, you're gonna have to crack it. It's not just gonna flex. So when you smack your nail on something, it's gonna crack, and that can damage your nail if you have long nails and you're very rough on them or use them as tools. That's why I really like this extension, because if you're using it as a tool or you bang your finger, you're not gonna see it bend, but molecularly it's gonna give you that little bit of give instead of cracking your nail off. Not to say they don't come off or they don't lift or anything else, just like a nail enhancement does, but I've had so much more retention and luck with this product and this system than acrylic. I do still love acrylic. I still have a lot of acrylic supplies in my acrylic clients, but this is a really good service for someone that's looking to grow out their nails and transition into a gel overlay, because this is a soft gel. So as this grows out, your natural nail will continue to grow under there. You can see mine have gotten really, really long. And so then as you grow your natural nail out, you can just clip this little plastic off, and then like if right now I wanted to cut this plastic tip off, I could have, a French tip that's that long and it's all my natural nail. But it's all up to what you want for your natural nails and what kind of system you want. Some people just like to cut their nails short every time and get an extension put on. That's fine. I've kind of started migrating towards that as well, but this is just to show you guys Gel X today and to give you a little bit more in-depth description of what it is. It's a newer service. I know it makes some people nervous to try something new, so hopefully I can give you a little bit more insight and you can feel more comfortable trying these new services.